Good afternoon. This is Akashvani. I am Valsa Williams with the midday news. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi highlights India's fintech prowess at Global Fintech Fest in Mumbai, asserts fintech sector played a significant role in democratizing financial services. Prime Minister to lay foundation stone of India's largest deep-water port at Palghar in Maharashtra. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar says era of uninterrupted dialogue with Pakistan is over as actions have consequences. Meeting of Joint Committee of Parliament on Waqf Amendment Bill underway in Delhi to seek suggestions from various stakeholders. And at Paralympic Games in Paris, Indian players eye medal haul in shooting, athletics and badminton on day 2. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today highlighted India's fintech prowess at the Global Fintech Fest GFF 2024 at Mumbai in Maharashtra. Speaking at the event, Mr. Modi said the fintech sector played a significant role in democratizing financial services. He said in the last 10 years, the fintech space has attracted investments of more than $31 billion.
पिछले 10 साल में फिनटेक स्पेस में $31 बिलियन से ज्यादा का निवेश हुआ है। हमारे फिनटेक स्टार्टअप्स में 500% वृद्धि हुई है। सस्ते मोबाइल फोन, सस्ते डेटा और जीरो बैलेंस जनधन बैंक खातों ने भारत में कमाल कर दिया है।
Mr. Modi added that digital transactions have diminished the menace of parallel economy and increased transparency in the banking system.
आज सरकार की सैकड़ों स्कीम्स के तहत डायरेक्ट बेनिफिट ट्रांसफर किया जाता है। इसमें सिस्टम से लीकेज बंद हुई है। आज लोगों को फॉर्मल सिस्टम से जुड़ने में अपना लाभ नजर आता है। भारत में फिनटेक की वजह से जो ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन आया है वो सिर्फ टेक्नोलॉजी तक ही सीमित नहीं है। इसका सोशल इम्पैक्ट बहुत व्यापक है। इससे गांव और शहर की खाई को ब्रीच करने में मदद मिली है।
Prime Minister Modi asserted that India's fintech ecosystem will bring ease of living for the world. He said the country's fintech adoption is unmatched in speed and scale, and half of the world's real-time digital transactions take place in India. He said in just a decade, India's broadband users have increased from 6 crore to 94 crore.
एक दशक में ही भारत में ब्रॉडबैंड यूजर 6 करोड़ से बढ़कर 940 मिलियन यानी करीब 94 करोड़ हो गए। आज 530 मिलियन यानी 53 करोड़ से अधिक लोगों के पास जनधन बैंक खाते हो गए हैं। यानी 10 साल में हमने एक प्रकार से पूरी यूरोपियन यूनियन के बराबर आबादी को बैंकिंग सिस्टम से जोड़ा है।
Speaking on the occasion, Reserve Bank of India Governor Shaktikant Das opined that India now stands on the cusp of a transformation where technology will act as the engine to meet the aspirations of every citizen.
From mobile banking to digital payments, AI-driven lending, blockchain innovations, the fintech ecosystem is constantly evolving to meet the diverse needs of our growing economy. Digital technologies have been instrumental in expanding financial inclusion, improving efficiency, and enabling real-time services across the country.
The Prime Minister also visited a GFF exhibition showcasing the latest innovations of the fintech landscape. Later in the day, Prime Minister Modi will inaugurate and lay the foundation stone of various development projects in Palghar. The Prime Minister will also lay the foundation stone of India's largest deep-water port, Wadhwan Port. The cost of this project is around 76,000 crore rupees. It aims to establish a world-class maritime gateway that will boost the country's trade and economic growth by catering to large container vessels. Highlighting the importance of the port in a social media post today, Prime Minister Modi said the upcoming Wadhwan port in Palghar is a very special project that will contribute to India's development. Mr. Modi added that the launch of India's largest deep-water port will reaffirm Maharashtra's pivotal role as a powerhouse of progress. The Prime Minister will also inaugurate and lay the foundation stone of 218 fisheries projects worth around 1,560 crore rupees. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar today said the era of uninterrupted dialogue with Pakistan is over, stressing that actions have consequences. Dr. Jaishankar stated this during a book launch in New Delhi. He said India is not passive with regard to dealing with Pakistan, and New Delhi will react whether events take a positive or negative direction.
The era of uninterrupted dialogue with Pakistan is over. Actions have consequences. And insofar as Jammu and Kashmir is concerned, I think 370 is done. So the issue today is what kind of relationship can we possibly contemplate with Pakistan.
Talking about Bangladesh, the minister said India has to look for mutuality of interest amidst the political changes in the neighbouring country.
With Bangladesh, since its independence, our relationship has gone up and down. And it is natural that we will deal with the government of the day. But we also have to recognize that there are political changes, and the political changes can be disruptive. And clearly here we have to look for mutuality of interest.
On India's relationship with the Maldives, Dr. Jaishankar said there have been ups and downs in India's approach to the Maldives. He also said that neighbours are always a conundrum and every country has challenges with its neighbours. India and China have decided to uphold peace and tranquility on the ground in border areas. Both the countries have reiterated that restoration of peace and tranquility and respect for the line of actual control (LAC) are the essential basis for restoration of normalcy in bilateral relations. The 31st meeting of the Working Mechanism for Consultation and Coordination on India-China Border Affairs was held yesterday in Beijing. Joint Secretary East Asia from the Ministry of External Affairs, Gaurang Das, led the Indian delegation. According to the Ministry of External Affairs, the two sides had an open, constructive and forward-looking exchange of views on the situation along the LAC to narrow down differences and find an early resolution of outstanding issues. This is Akashvani giving you the news. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our X handle at AIR News Alerts. The meeting of the Joint Committee of Parliament on the Waqf Amendment Bill 2024 is currently underway in New Delhi to seek views and suggestions from various stakeholders. The Waqf Amendment Bill 2024 is intended to overcome the shortcomings and to enhance the efficiency of the administration and management of the Waqf properties. According to the Lok Sabha Secretariat, All India Sunni Jamiatul Ulama of Mumbai and Indian Muslims for Civil Rights of New Delhi will put forth their views before the committee today. The Joint Committee of Parliament on the Waqf Amendment Bill 2024, constituted under the chairmanship of Lok Sabha MP Jagdambika Pal, had invited views and suggestions from the stakeholders, including the public, NGOs, experts and institutions. The first meeting of the Joint Committee of Parliament on the Waqf Amendment Bill was held on the 22nd of this month. The 31-member committee consists of 21 members from the Lok Sabha and 10 members from the Rajya Sabha. Former Jharkhand Chief Minister Champai Soren is scheduled to join the BJP at a function in Ranchi this afternoon. Several dignitaries, including Union Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan and Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma, will be present on the occasion. Earlier, speaking to media, Champai Soren had asserted that he is joining the BJP to save tribal identity and existence, which is at stake in this state.
तो आदिवासी अस्तित्व बचाने के लिए हम दूसरा दल से नहीं हो सकता है, भारतीय जनता पार्टी का दल से हो सकता है। इसीलिए हम इस आदिवासी को बचाने के लिए, झारखंड को विकास करने के लिए बहुत चिंतन करने के बाद हम आज भारतीय जनता पार्टी में हम सदस्यता करने जा रहा हूं।
Meanwhile, Jharkhand Mukti Morcha MLA Ramdas Soren took oath as a minister in the Hemant Soren government in Jharkhand. The Kharchila MLA replaced former Chief Minister Champai Soren in the state cabinet. Governor Santosh Kumar Gangwar administered the oath of office in secrecy to Ramdas Soren at Raj Bhavan in Ranchi. In a move to simplify the process for pensioners, the government today launched a single simplified pension application form and digital integration of Bhavishya with EHRMS. The unique initiatives were launched by the Minister of State for Ministry of Personnel, Public Grievances and Pensions, Dr. Jitendra Singh, in New Delhi through video conferencing. The Finance Ministry has said there are no restrictions for persons of the queer community to open a joint bank account and to nominate a person in a queer relationship as a nominee. The Department of Financial Services in the Ministry issued an advisory in this regard yesterday. The advisory for the queer community has come from the Ministry in view of the Supreme Court order dated the 17th of October 2023 in the case of Supriya Chakraborty and another versus the Union of India. Delhi Lieutenant Governor Vinay Kumar Saxena today distributed appointment letters to 628 candidates selected by the Union Public Service Commission and Delhi Subordinate Services Selection Board in New Delhi. The candidates, including 27 doctors, were conferred with appointment letters from different departments. Talking to media, the Delhi Lieutenant Governor said appointment letters have been handed to more than 17,000 people in the last 2 years. India and Saudi Arabia signed a memorandum of understanding in Riyadh today in a significant move to enhance bilateral cooperation in public sector auditing. The agreement was signed by the Comptroller and Auditor General of India, Girish Chandra Murmu, and President of the Saudi General Court of Audit, Dr. Hussam Al-Angari. The MOU aims to foster collaboration and facilitate the exchange of expertise between the two nations in the realm of public sector auditing. The India Meteorological Department, IMD, has forecast very heavy rainfall over Odisha, coastal Andhra Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Vidarbha and Telangana during the next 2 to 3 days. The IMD said these conditions will also prevail over parts of Gujarat and Vidarbha till tomorrow. Meanwhile, IMD has said a deep depression formed over Kutch region in Gujarat is expected to turn into a cyclone and is likely to move towards Pakistan in the northeastern Arabian Sea. The cyclone, named Asana, will be the first of its kind since 1976. In view of this, IMD has predicted heavy showers in Kutch region today. Our correspondent reports that the district administration has geared up in view of the cyclone.
Although the intensity of the rains has significantly reduced in Kutch district since morning, the district administration has taken wide steps in view of the possible cyclone. District collector has urged people to be alert and avoid unnecessary movement. People living in coastal areas are being shifted to safer locations. 3-number signals have been put up at Mundra, Kandla and Jakhau ports. Fishermen have been advised not to venture into the sea during the next 3 days. Following the torrential rainfall in Mandvi, Abdasa and Lakhpat tehsils of Kutch yesterday, mobile networks have been severely affected. Aparna Khund, Akashvani News, Ahmedabad.
IMD has issued an orange alert in 7 districts of Kerala indicating isolated very heavy rainfall. Orange alert will be in place in Ernakulam, Idukki, Thrissur, Kozhikode, Wayanad, Kannur and Kasaragod. It has sounded yellow alert in 5 other districts. In view of the alert, Idukki district authorities said the shutters of Pamla Dam will be raised this afternoon to release water as a precautionary measure. At the Paralympic Games in Paris, Indian players are eyeing a medal haul in shooting, athletics and badminton on day 2 today. In shooting, Avni Lekra and Mona Agarwal have qualified for the final of women's 10-meter air rifle standing off SH1 category. Their victory keeps the hopes of yet another Paralympics gold medal alive. However, in badminton, Mansi Joshi crashed out from the women's singles event, losing to Ukraine's Oksana Kozina in badminton SL3 category. In men's section, Manoj Sarkar also lost to Thailand's Mongkon Bunsun in the second match in SL3 category. In athletics, the women's discus throw final F55 category is now underway. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi highlights India's fintech prowess at Global Fintech Fest in Mumbai. Asserts fintech sector played a significant role in democratizing financial services. Prime Minister to lay foundation stone of India's largest deep-water port at Palghar in Maharashtra. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar says the era of uninterrupted dialogue with Pakistan is over as actions have consequences. Meeting of Joint Committee of Parliament on Waqf Amendment Bill underway in Delhi to seek suggestions from various stakeholders. And at Paralympic Games in Paris, Indian players eye medal haul in shooting, athletics and badminton on day 2. And with that we end the midday news.